Hi, I go by the name of Sapia Nyako, and I'm here to present on the project which is being done by me. So to begin everything, I'll start with the first project, which is the Python and the calculator. So they add a modulo. So it adds the A and B, then returns. Then the division, it divides the A and B, then returns. If there's an error division by, it will divide by 0. So the add many to, then same applies to the modulo, same applies to the multiple, same applies to the subtraction. So with the main, I import the add, I import the multiple, I import the subtraction. Whatever I did in the first file, it comes over here. Then I take any number, then I add 12, I add them to get, so I add them to get a result. So I said print add 2, so 12 3, then it produces the output. So let me produce the output and see what happens here. Okay, so okay, so um, so yeah, there's the output. So you see, so when we added the 12 plus 3, it gave us 15. Then the add many, which adds as long as it adds all of them, no matter how the number it is, you can put in there. Then it gave me a value which is 20. Then the multiply 2, which is 9 and 10 for the multiplication, it gave me 19. Then the 1 15 13 is added all of them. So there's the output for the calculator as the first project. So to go by it, I go to the JavaScript. So with JavaScript, so no, okay, sorry, I think so with the project 1 JavaScript, this is how it's I call the function, it add to A B, then return A plus B. So with that, same applies to that. So in the JavaScript as the main, I call a function const. So add to, add many, then require. So the console log outputs the addition. So it outputs everything which is being done at the first file, the add, the division, the modulo, the multiplication, the subtraction. So let's output everything over here. So let's okay. So I think we didn't do it well, so I think I have to make it be in the JavaScript debug terminal. So I think, let me see. Okay, so we are in the JavaScript debug terminal. So let's output it and see what happens. Project 1 Java script. So yeah, so now let's output everything. So to output it, it will be no, I think JavaScript, no. So to output everything in JavaScript, you bring the node, then the main where everything belongs. So main dot js. So let's wait for the output. Debugger attached. So yeah, so as the same thing which applies to the Python. So this what happens. This is the output of it. So yeah. So now let's go to the project 2, which is the quiz. So it has two arrays, cons quizzes and cons scores. So require a function. So the quizzes dot for each. So it has to go to each of everything over here. Then same as the scores. So to console log quiz score mapping. So it's going to map everything. Function scores to grade. So we are going to grade it. So we graded it as if score is greater or equal to 90, return. So we set it as A. So if score greater than 85, return it as A minus. If score greater than 80, return it as B plus. Same applies to everything. Then return to F. If so, we call grade good grades. So the good grades are the A minus, B plus, B, and the B minus. So let's output this over here and see what happens. See the project 2 Java. Okay, so I think you have to set a new this one over here. Let's see. I needed to clear all of it, but I didn't do that. So let's start again. So project project 2 Java. So let's output quiz dot js. So yeah, you see. So quiz 2 score is equal to 90, which gives you a grade A. Scores 4. So quiz 4 score is equal to 70, which gives you B minus. Quiz 6 score 65, which gives you grade C plus. So number of quizzes with a good grade, A to B minus. So the people who had a good grade from A to B minus were only 3. So that's how it is, and this is the output. So we go to the project 3, which is a login page, but I made it as authentication page. So to begin with everything, to begin with HTML, this how you have to put in this body part as a main. Put this from the head, from here, from a link row style sheet, and the reference style.css. So without this you can't start with the HTML. So we divide the class, put in a login card, login header, then we make the header 1, which is Ghana Telecom portal. So a paragraph, sign in to access your, we make a paragraph which is sign in to access your statement hub, student hub. Then form an ID, that's the form. So the login form, so the label for username, then the email, then that's where you text. So we set a text area for you. So input type, text ID, username, then placeholder required. So there will be a space for you, which that's where you type it. So the password, then we set a place, input type password, ID password, placeholder, enter your password required. Then we create a button. The button is, we create a button where that's where after putting all your details or your credentials, you click to submit. Okay, so yeah, so let's come to the script.js. So I made um, an array of 5 which contains name, your password, your username, password, name, index number, your program which you offer. So yeah, then we come to the style.css. That's what we use to style or make the browser very powerful. So with that, I think that's what's going to make the browser very look very powerful. And we set the body, we display it to be flex, align center to make it very center, login card. Okay, so I think I have to connect my hotspot to it, or so that it can show the browser of what I did. Let me see if it can come over here. Open the server. Let's see. So I'm trying to connect to the internet so I can show um, the output of it. So with that, when the internet is being connected, let's move to the fourth project, which is the tax. So with this, there's this in a bash. So replace, so they accept the name, so navigate to the desktop. So let's get to the output. So cd project form bash bash tax form.sh. Okay, so about this, the date did not, so this is the output of it. So we set a date and the current date. So if it doesn't match, that's how it's going to be. So yeah, and then project 5, I think I have to set anyone. So I'm outputting it. So with this, it's an authentication where the read p, it gives you as, I set it as enter your username, so it means it's where you type your username then your password. So with this, it's mostly like you authenticating yourself or creating an authentication for a browser where you put in your credentials. So the SP, the minus S over here makes it secretive, where if you input your password, no one will see. So you look at it. So the name is Elvis. Then the password, which is not showing right now. Then you see authentication fully active. So yeah. So then I think it's supposed to give me the age. I think it's supposed to come. So it's like if you're not eligible to vote, or your age is not, it's limited, it's less than 18, or you're not eligible to vote. But if you are eligible to vote, it will print out you are eligible to vote. Why it's not coming for that one. So wait, I think my Wi-Fi is connected, so I think I can output this one. Yeah. So one thing is about bash is when you are calling the variable, you should use the dollar sign. So you have dollar sign when you're calling it, you should use the dollar sign. Same applies to the PHP. The PHP, when you're starting everything, dollar sign is supposed to start. When you're giving a variable name, it's supposed to start with the dollar sign with everything. Yeah. And the reason why we made an if and it's fi, because it's the other side, the opposite side of the if. So if you start with an if in bash, it has to end with an fi. So I don't know why it's not open my browser. So I think here's it. So I think here's it. So here's it. So you see, I put in my credentials, which is the Elvis 001. Then the password is Elvis 3. I think the login, I didn't put in the right login. So we come here, then come and look at the password which I use over there. My login, what's the password? So this is the password. So this is the username and this is the password. This is the and this is the password. So yeah. So let me put in the password. So that's it. So I think I thank you for giving me this opportunity and projecting I know I so the end of